the European Legacy Champion. Felix has already wrapped up Grand Champion thanks to his win in Standard, but this is the last title on the line. Whoever wins here is the Legacy Champion. And I suspect Felix has traditionally been on an Eldrazi build. Yeah, he's on that again. Chalice, Ancient Tomb, Chalice for 1 is going to be big here. If Aric's on what we expect him to be on. Hold on, what's going on? I just requested permission to see the hand. Yep, he's on his Reanimator. So he does have a Daze, so that's going to be able to take care of the Chalice for 1. Yeah, he's. I call her a partner in crime. We both play the Reanimator, so I've got a soft spot here. And down comes Chalice, so it's going to eat a Daze. For quite a while, Aric was on the traditional black-red build, which could not deal with that turn 1. Oh! It's not going to matter because he can still play around it with Exhume and Animate Dead. What does he reanimate? Chancellor or Elish Norn? I think you go for... I think you go for Elish Norn to give all his creatures -2 because I don't think that they normally play Dismember in this Eldrazi list, and it doesn't. So Dismember will not kill Elish Norn, although it won't kill Chancellor either. Chancellor might be a decent land tax, yeah. Particularly when he's on Ancient Tomb, it means he's going to have to pay 1 extra for all his spells. But if he can find a Chalice for 2. That's going to be very painful for Aric to overcome. You can see the Smasher in hand there. 2, 4. So he's going to be able to play a Temple and play it next turn. But Smasher, and there's a concession very quickly. So Reanimator takes game 1 against Eldrazi. You can see Chalice is normally... Chalice for 1 is very problematic for the Reanimator player to deal with. So luckily he had... he was on the play there, and he could play with that Daze. But ultimately, it didn't matter, and a very quick game 1 goes to Aric Halden, and he's one win away from the Legacy Championship. It makes if he wins this after taking Modern 2-0, it makes that Standard 2-1 result even more entertaining. Just sideboarding. I'm not sure what the Eldrazi player has in sideboard. I would imagine generally in this format it's either Surgical Extraction or Grafdigger's Cage. I'd imagine he's expecting probably Grafdigger's Cage. Quite a long sideboard here. I've just started playing a reanimator myself, and it's always a guess between, are they bringing in artifact hate for the for the grave, or are they bringing in spells like the black spell, whose name escapes, surgical extraction. Because if you bring in something like a wear tear, it's useless against a surgical extraction. That's tempting. That I think he keeps that. No, he doesn't. Oh, he's got a chancellor. As we see, Aric keeps that hand. Oh, ley. Okay, so he's got ley lines. So now, if he doesn't have, if Aric doesn't have wear tear, this could be going to game 2. You can see he's got the threats there. One thing, sometimes this deck, sometimes this deck will play Grave Titan. I play Grave Titan in mine because you can actually hard cast Grave Titan quite easily. 2 Dark Rituals will cast a Grave Titan. But you can, okay, so he's got the wear tear. You could see Aric was digging quite aggressively to find that. Now he's just got to find the red source for it. One more land. Not quite sure why he didn't play that land that turn. Oh, Wasteland, of course. Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of graveyard hate going on here. This is going to be huge. If Aric can beat an enchantment and an artifact targeting his graveyard, I'll be amazed. What he needs here to start with is a fetch land, so that he can actually fetch and play the Underground Sea in the same turn to play that wear tier. But this is going to be difficult. I think that we're going to a game 3 here. Chalice for 1. I think if he played Chalice just now for 2, it would have been a lock, but no, we're going to see a concession anyway. That's an impossible match to win against an artifact and an enchantment. You saw he had the wear tier, so he could have actually fused it and removed both, but the wasteland was just making it impossible. The only way to play around that was to get 2 fetches, play his land, and then fetch both at the same time, so that he can float the mana in response to the wasteland. But that's a huge uphill battle to pull something like that off. As they're quickly back into it, and I think we're going to see the full set of 4 wear tiers from. There's another ley line in the main. You can see at the bottom of the screen what Aric's kept. He doesn't have a lot going on, but what does he take here? Probably Chalice, I'd imagine. Yep, Chalice is down. Finds a Reality Smasher. He knows about the wasteland, so what's he going to fetch here? He fetches a volcanic. As Felix wastes no time wastelanding that. It does keep Felix a turn off Because he could have played Reality Smasher next turn if he didn't Wasteland right there. But I think the Wasteland was the correct play. Very tough for the reanimated player to overcome turn 0 Leyline of the Void. Okay, so setting up next turn Reality Smasher. He can show and tell here if he wishes. And he's going to do that, yep. So it'll be Chancellor against Reality Smasher or Endbringer. Chancellor will outclass the Endbringer. And Chancellor's not non-legendary, so it gets around Caracas as well. Endbringer is going to be able to draw Felix cards. And he's going to do that, see what he can find. Aric with the Lotus Petal again. A Warping Whale. Not bad, counter sorcery spells. Endless one. 2/4. Endless one can be cast for he's got to pay 1 tax, so it'll only be a 5/5. He's just taking the slow route here, just pinging one at a time. 17 turn clock. As Aric decides enough is enough, I'm going to race you. I don't think it's going to work, particularly when this time he's drawing cards. Once Reality Smasher comes down here, and he's got a Thorn. You can see the Graph Digger's Cage. This is becoming quite bad. Although having said that, Graph Digger's Cage, if Aric was to peel a Wear Tear here, he can actually, he has the mana and the 2 Lotus Petals to interesting, Felix doesn't want to pay the 1. Ah, he can't because Thorn of the Amethyst. Thorn of the Amethyst and yeah. Nice. So what happened there is Felix tried to play Graph Digger's Cage. He only had the Eldrazi Temple. He tried to play Graph Digger's Cage and got 2 triggers, one from the Thorn and one from the Chancellor. So he could only pay for 1. So he is kind of, his Thorn ended up being his own Thorn in his side. Endbringer starting to go to work on the Chancellor now. He's going to push through 10 damage. And that's it. That's a concession. So Felix will take Legacy 2-1 and Legacy title and the European Championship and the Standard and Modern. So he's won everything this year. Congratulations to Felix. And thank you for joining me on the stream.